Legend has it that Ebenezer Bryce, the settler that Bryce Canyon was named after, used to describe the amphitheater as a hell of a place to lose a cow. And I would say, it's a hell of a place to have a hike. First, let's start with the basics. Entrance fees to the park is $35. Since we were planning to be there for 2 days, we opted to get the America the Beautiful annual card instead. 2 days at $35 would cost us $70, so for only an additional $10, we could get an annual card. This paid off right away since we took the road through Zion to get to Bryce, and that would have been an additional $35. Here in Vegas, you could use the American the Beautiful card at Red Rocks Canyon. We were there in early September, so after the summer crowd, but before the winter snows hit. While some parts of Bryce are open throughout the winters, the mountains can get a fair amount of snow, and Vegas locals generally don't have experience driving on snowy roads, so it can be super scary. Bryce Canyon is a relatively small national park, and because of this and the fact that the vast majority of visitors are there to visit the exact same views, parking can be a big problem in the park. Luckily, the park provides a free shuttle. We love the free shuttles. We always take the ones in Zion National Park and at the Grand Canyon too. The shuttle stops are right where you want to be, so no parking far away and then having to have a long hike before you even get to the place where you want to hike from. With Bryce, it makes even more sense to take the shuttle if you decide to hike a part of the rim trail. At each stop, you can either decide to take the shuttle or to continue on with your hike. Once in the park, the shuttle stops at the visitor center and then bypasses everything to stop at the furthest point, Bryce Point. Then it continues back along the rim towards the visitor center. Before you start your hikes, I have to tell you about the Hike the Hoodoos medallions. I only found out about this on our second day, so we don't have one. On many of the trails, not the rim trails unfortunately, you can find a benchmark. It is a sign with a metal disc that is usually at the furthest point of the hike. When you find the benchmark, you can take a photo or make a rubbing of it. Once you've collected 3 benchmarks, you can show your photos or rubbings to the visitor center ranger and they will present you with a special reward. There are a total of 9 medallions in the park, and there is certain bragging rights if you have attained all of them, but it will take you over 18 miles of hiking. I live in the middle of the Vegas Valley. I literally have to get in a car and drive to find a hill. So although I walk my prescribed 10,000 steps a day, all of this is totally flat. Thus, looking at the elevation chart for the Navajo Loop Trail, I knew moderate might actually mean this is going to hurt for me. This, combined with the fact that it was raining on and off the entire time we were at Bryce, made us decide to just stick with the rim trail. Walking the entire rim trail from Bryce Point to Sunset Point will take you 5 to 6 hours depending on your fitness level. The first part is a gravel path. This is really not hard if you are moderately fit, but it is a wild path. So if you are scared of height or have problems with uneven terrains, I would not recommend it. We opted to take the shuttle between Bryce Point and Inspiration Point before starting our hike. Before we start talking about the hiking though, let's talk about the view. Even Bryce Point, which does not have the full impact of the amphitheater, is breathtakingly beautiful. I won't go into the whole geology of how hoodoos are formed, but there is nowhere else on earth where you can see a sight like this. Just the sheer number of hoodoos. There's actually a campsite we go to often of the 70 near where it joins the 50, where you can get right up close to the hoodoos without the vertical climb, but that's only a few hoodoos. Bryce's Amphitheater, since it's technically not a canyon, far exceeds anywhere else on earth for sheer scale. Bryce Canyon also has an amazing array of colors, from the palest white to the deepest red, and the colors change during the day. During sunrise and sunset, there's a purple color to the hoodoos that disappear under the glare of the sun. Bryce Canyon is worth visiting even if you can't hike at all. Many parts also have disabled access. There are many information boards all over the park with details about history, geography, and other features. While you don't go to Bryce to see bears and buffaloes, there are plenty of animals to see. We didn't see any pronghorn, and that might be because it was really late in the year and they might have already moved to lower elevation. But we did see several families of deer. We also saw a fair number of squirrels. I'm fairly sure the chipmunks are the dark stripy types and the ground squirrels are the lighter non-stripy type. But that is the extent of my knowledge, and I'm happy to say we saw both types. We saw loads of birds, but I need a much better camera than my phone has to take bird photos. So please, subscribe and like if you've made it this far in the video, so eventually I can make some money and get a camera. We did see several ravens, or crows. Does anybody know the difference? Sitting nice and still in a tree, so that we could film them. The hike between Sunrise Point and Sunset Point is paved. If you only have a very short time in the park, this is the part that you want to see. Instead of hiking the rim, this is where you can also opt to take the Navajo Loop down into the amphitheater. The hike down is challenging, but also always remember, once you're down there, you need to come back up and out. Along the rim hike, you will walk past Bryce Canyon Lodge, both the big lodge building and the small rentable cabin. If this is within your budget, it is well worth the expense. I do want to note that Bryce Canyon never closes. It is open 24 hours because it is so famous for its dark skies, for its stars at night. Unfortunately, it was rainy and overcast for our entire trip, so we missed out both on the stars and on the spectacular sunrises and sunsets. If you like even more information, the information boards also, for instance, have information about the different types of pine trees so you can tell them apart. The Park Service really do a very good job at sharing information. You can spend your time reading or just choose to enjoy the view. Other than the visitor center, there's also a small store where you can stop for a drink or a snack, some water on a warm day or some coffee on a cold day. Here, there are also shuttle stops on both sides of the road. So, if you want to go back towards Bryce Point, maybe because you left your car there, you can cross the road and take the shuttle going back deeper into the park. Again and again, you will come back to the view of the hoodoos. This is, after all, why you are here at Bryce. During our evening visit, we had the joy of watching a chipmunk dig up some food and sit there having a snack. Unfortunately, you see more chipmunks where there are more tourists because it seems that people just cannot understand that feeding them does not really help them. A lot of fed chipmunks and squirrels die during the winter when there are no tourists to feed them because they never learn to look after themselves, and the food that they get from the tourists just does not store well. In the evening, we went back to Inspiration Point in the hope of a beautiful sunset. Unfortunately, due to the weather, it was just not meant to be. But the silver lining is, we'll just have to go back again one day. We did have a quick stop at the visitor center. Not only is it a great place for information, but the Park Service has a very tempting array of products. Maybe when I retire, I will visit all 63 national parks and get myself a park's passport and collects all the stamps. I totally fell in love with the park's hat. Why do I always fall in love with hats? I don't wear hats.